I just can't take no pleasure in killing. Just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat's been slit?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast, here with my co-host and great friend, Mr. Tony the Dead, and we are the Ghouls of Midnight. And today, we are reviewing the movie Special Effects from 1984. Stars Zoe Lund and Eric Bogosian. Those are our main pair right there. Very interesting about them, too, because I didn't notice, so I just read up on it, but I knew I recognized both of the actors, and Eric, who plays our main antagonist, like I remember seeing him in Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. He was the villain guy in that. And then Zoe, I had like I kept saying to myself, she looks so familiar, but then I didn't really recognize. But then she was in a movie I saw some time back called MS-45. And so that was kind of a cool movie where she was playing like a nun that was going on a vigilante killing spree after being assaulted and whatnot. So,
oh, okay.
But the other interesting thing about Zoe is she did pass away. When was the year? Wasn't super long ago. 1999. She was only 37.
Oh, wow.
And the reason is she was a big time drug addiction. And from what I read, she was really big into heroin.
Oh.
And so, but she was also a huge advocate for it. Like she was unapologetic about the use. Now, here's the funny thing about it, though. It's not funny she's dead, but just in general with her perception of it.
Yeah.
So she was fine with heroin, but did not like coke or anything else. However, when she moved to Paris, I guess heroin's hard to get there. So she ended up using coke, and that's eventually what took her life. So
wow.
Yeah, isn't that weird? But she's very well liked. She was a musician, model, actress, author, producer, political activist, and screenwriter. So she did a lot of different things, even though I really don't know a lot of her stuff. Like this is just either this and MS-45. So
yeah.
Very interesting. So Special Effects is a 1984 American horror film thriller directed by Larry Cohen, who we know, and starring Zoe Lund and Eric Bogosian. Its plot follows a woman who is cast in a film by a director based on a murder he committed. And so basically the other synopsis to this is Eric plays Christopher Neville, who's a director who's kind of fallen on hard times. Shit's not going the way he wants. He's almost becoming a mockery within the industry. Then we have Zoe playing dual characters in this. She plays first Andrea Wilcox, where really the opening scene, she's topless, she's doing a photo shoot, and I'm like, ooh, boobies, great.
Yeah.
And of course, Chris Neville's there, and he's kind of looking over this photo shoot, so he's hoping maybe she might want to do a movie with him, but she has other issues going on, which her husband comes along, who she ran away from Dallas to in LA because she wants to be a star rather than be a house mother. So at first you're kind of like looking at this as, oh, well, maybe the husband's abusive and he's possessive, but all he wants is for his wife to come back and help take care of the kid, to have a kid.
Yeah.
So when he does finally get her to the car and gets her to the hotel, he's like trying to show her videos like, this is your kid, you're walking away from this.
Yeah.
So she's not really hearing it, and she ends up leaving and getting away again, like sneaks away from him, gets out from his possessiveness, I guess, and ends up going over to Mr. Novell's house.
Sorry, I just moved my mic. Was that loud?
Yeah, that was loud.
Was it? I couldn't hardly hear it. Sorry.
Yeah, so she goes over to Novell's house, and he starts saying, yeah, well, I could try to start, putting you in a film, but he kind of has ulterior motives here.
Yeah.
Because he likes to do like sex films too. So he kind of seduces and smoozes her, and then he's got this hidden camera that's going on. And as they're starting to make out and get ready to have sex, like she hears the winding of the camera. So she's like, oh, and it just turns into an argument. Like she's like, fuck this, I'm not here for this. I want our actual role.
Right.
So he loses his cool, chokes her to death while it's still filming, and moves the body elsewhere until it's discovered later. And of course, they assume it's the husband. So this starts like a whole chain of events, which one, you can kind of sit there and say, wow, why is Neville trying to insert himself into the husband's life? The husband's been charged with murder. Like they think he's the guy.
Yeah.
You would think Neville would be like, I'm walking away from this. I'm not having any part of this.
Yeah, like I got away with this shit.
But he's got like this ego, and he wants to make another film. So before I get into more of that, how did you kind of feel about this film? Had you ever seen this film before?
No, I've heard of it. but I've never seen it before. It's kind of been one that I wanted to see before. Like I might have had this on VHS and I just never watched it. I don't know. But
That'd be kind of cool if you had it on VHS.
if I do, I'll send it to you.
It's probably in a box somewhere.
It's honestly, if it is, it's behind me in a box in the closet there. But or above me in the attic. But what was the question? How did I
Just how you feel about it, like because I didn't know if you'd seen it before, but since you haven't, like, how did you feel about it?
Well, just hearing you explain it makes me understand the movie more, because it's like kind of confusing when I'm watching it, because I didn't watch a trailer, I didn't read the synopsis or anything. I just went in and without looking at anything, and it was like, what is going on? I get that he wants her to come home, and she's like, oh no, I'm her. No, you're not her. You're not my wife. And she just doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I feel for him that he wants her to come home and that, because like, why should he raise the kid by himself? And she's a piece of shit that left. And at the same time, it's like, dude, why are you going through all this shit for a woman that like doesn't want to be around? Like, just raise your kid, find somebody else that and move on. This woman's not worth it.
Yeah, and that's kind of a weird thing, because, like, again, this is the husband here, and really, it's weird because in the beginning of the movie, you're like, oh my god, this must be the guy that's going to be the asshole in the entire film. Mm-hmm. But as the film goes on, his whole character arc changes. Like, you're like, oh, he's actually become the hero, like, in some ways. So yeah, here is Zoe, who's playing both Andrea and Elaine Bernstein. So obviously, Andrea has been killed by our antagonist here. This is Christopher Novell, played by Bogosian. And so, again, after the husband's been arrested for what they feel is he's probably the one responsible for her death, because he was the last one seen with her, Novell decides to insert himself by getting a lawyer for the guy and also bailing him out of jail. And so what he has decided, again, through ego, this guy can't help himself. He's talking to the husband. He's like, yeah, I'd like to do a film based upon your marriage with Andrea. Like, I want to recreate what happened in your life and everything like this. And, at first the husband's like, are you fucking insane? Yeah. Like, but eventually he agrees to it as like sort of like a consultant on the film. And so then the hunt goes for, well, now let's find an actress. So, Novell interviews and auditions a few girls. Nothing really comes out of it. But then one day the husband I forget where he's at, but he comes across a girl that's working at this place, which of course is almost a doppelganger for his wife. And he says, you know what? I know a guy that's doing a film and you would be perfect for it. And so she accepts. Mm-hmm. And of course, once Novell sees, he's like, yeah, okay, this is our girl. Yeah. And so the process starts that she's going to change her look, get the wig, the same look that Andrea had, and they got an actor. Mm-hmm. But as time goes on, the husband starts to find out, like, why does this guy Novell know so much about what happened with my wife? Like, there's little ticks here and there that he starts. Like, there's a moment where he has the actors doing a sex scene, and like that's something that only the killer would actually know what happened that evening. Yeah. And of course, the husband gets pissed off because he's like, he doesn't want to believe his wife was going to have sex with this person, whoever killed her. Yeah. So he's freaking out on set, and it just turns into a nightmare. Yeah. And of course, the cops, they're trying to figure shit out. And then in the process, Novell, who has like these editors for his film, are looking at the film. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if the guy that's the editor figured it out and was trying to blackmail him for more money, or he just was going to out him. I think that's what happened. Yeah. Yeah. So Novell ends up killing that dude. Like, he just takes him out of the equation altogether.
That guy was so cocky from the very beginning. He's like, he had like this look on his face, like, "Hey, I'm untouchable."
Right? Yeah, yeah. And
He's
so,
doing his little
yeah,
check,
so
and I thought, "Yep, this is the last checks you'll ever do."
you're right.
You know?
So, yeah, it's just, as the film keeps going on and on, you see Neville being more cocky about it. He feels like that he's not going to get caught. He's like, this is going to work out perfectly. And this is going to be a great movie because I'm pretty sure, like, he did have the girl, the new actress, kind of like mimic what happened to this scene. But a part of me thought, well, maybe he's just going to substitute the real murder and try to get away with it. Like that's going to be his claim to fame, which he'll never admit to, but that's how he's going to try to play it off. It's like,
Right.
yeah, I got
They're
to
gonna
stick it
think
in there.
that that's art, but it's actually real life put inside of
Right.
art. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what he was trying to do. And the whole time thinking, why are you bothering? Like, why bring attention to all this? The husband's like caught. It's pretty not caught, but like he's a suspect, and it's just like, and then he gets the police chief involved by like getting him involved in it while actually, what do they call it, hidden in plain view. It's like everybody wants to be famous and all that, and like it's like he doesn't, the chief or whatever, he doesn't want to be a cop. He wants to like be more important. So then it's like, oh, I'm going to give you a job and you're going to be like, writing my rewrites and all that kind of stuff. And then that guy starts like going all Hollywood. Well, his partner's like, what are you doing? Are you a cop or what are you?
Oh yeah, that was kind of funny. Yeah, he was getting all in the role because the cop, again, Neville's like kind of clever on his part, trying to keep the cops close so he can keep tabs on what they know and what they don't, while at the same time, as you said, kind of filling this cop's head like, yeah, you could be a star, man. You could be in this film,
Yeah,
so the cops all like excited, like, yeah, man, I'm into this, yeah. And
It
that's
came
part of
to the point
thing
where
too,
I
because
forgot he was a cop. I'm like, wait, isn't this guy a cop? Why is he walking around the set like giving notes about this shit? It's weird. But it's like, oh
right,
yeah, that's his plan.
yeah,
Again, why have them right in front of you? Like, let that one time he got caught, he's actually looking at the film, the murder, and he's like, oh,
yeah,
like, don't get too cocky.
yeah. It's like what your atypical killer who gets sort of gratification from his kill. So it's like having a trinket,
Yeah.
That's his trinket, that he has this proof that he did this, and it's craziness.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about the ending, where
Ugh.
one, the death of Neville, and then how the husband actually had the new girl portray his wife as they left to go back home? How'd you feel about all that?
Well, all I know is that this guy got two girls that look exactly the same that don't want anything to do with him. How he did that, I guess he was just himself, because I know he was pissed off and he wanted to have his wife come back and everything. And like I said, she didn't want to come back after all that running away, and just the hell with her. Just get the divorce, get her to sign the papers, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of felt like the ending, like, I don't know, I guess he's just that desperate and in love with his wife, even though he knows she's dead. It's like, well, this is the replacement, and she did not want to go. She just was doing it like, it seems like she was just doing it to, for the kid. Like, I don't know this kid, and it's like, well, and I'm thinking, well, this is like a new life for you. You don't have to work in Goodwill or whatever it was, Salvation Army, and that. But then she was being this. But then the director got killed. Like, I think Neville should have had a more bigger death. I got a kick out of the way he like dropped into the water. Like, oh,
Yeah.
and it's like, that's not gonna kill him. Come on. And then he gets electrocuted. Then when she turns all those on, the fuses, which is like, he pulled the fuses out and then just threw them. If your plan was for her to put them back in, why don't you just leave them in or drop them there?
Or
just
keep
loosen them
together somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, loose enough where it goes off, but she just has to do this. I don't know. It's not in the script,
Right.
but
And of course, they say that in the description of the wiki, that I thought it was kind of intentional. I thought, even though she didn't really see what was going on, the idea was they were going to try to take him out because this guy was a killer.
Yeah.
So by the time she got the plugs back in, like I thought, well, that's kind of the plan, even though they didn't expect him to fall in the water. But
Yeah.
I can't remember. Didn't they throw a wire or something in the water?
The light fell down into the
Yeah.
water, and then when she
Yeah.
plugged it back in, it zapped him.
Right. So, but they kept saying
Yeah.
she was, wasn't intending for that to happen. It's like, I don't think they really cared that he died. It's not like a big
No,
deal.
it was a happy accident.
Right.
But yeah, he
I
was
did find,
definitely Neville was definitely like I couldn't stand him the whole time. He was very
he
pompous,
has,
and he was
he
such
has
an
that
asshole.
look. He plays the villain well.
Yeah.
He's the guy you love to hate.
Yeah.
Same with Dark Territory. Like when I see that movie, I'm like, he's just a sniveling little ass. Like you want him to get the worst ending possible.
Yeah. That's why I think I wanted Neville to have like a bigger ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gone down in history, I guess. Because the whole point of the special effects too is because he used too much of it or something in another movie.
Yeah. The
And
budget was out of control or something, so they had to let him go or some crazy ass shit.
yeah. Yeah.
And I think too, if I remember, I think he even had the camera rolling when he died. So they might have got that on camera too.
Yeah.
So his own death got caught. So somebody's probably going to benefit off of that.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for the ending. I feel bad for I do, but I don't. Like I feel bad for him that he had to go through all this shit just to get a fake wife that still didn't want him. But at the same time, he did seem very possessive. I know he was angry, but like he did hit her head going in the car. He kind of had a little bit of anger issues. I could see maybe we have to hear her side of the story, I think, too.
Right.
But at the same time, if she don't want to stay, dude.
Yeah, that's the sort of the bait and switch is that we look at this guy and he's like, he seems fucking nuts, like the way that he was behaving early in the film.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, if anybody on the street sees you forcing a woman to the car, they're gonna stop you if they're logical.
Yeah.
But then like by the end of it, it's like, oh, this is supposed to be our hero. This is the guy that all of a sudden is caring. He's developing a relationship with the new girl. It's like, but I was never sure like why she's obviously assuming the identity of Andrea by the end of it. And I'm like, was that really necessary? I mean, obviously you have a son. Maybe that's part of the reasoning, but it's like, it's not like your son can't find out in the future that, yeah, my mother's actually dead. This person is not really who my mother was. Like,
yeah.
It's just one of those weird things, like weird ending, I thought, because it's like, what are you hiding?
It's the sequel, right?
Unless the idea was they were trying to make it sound like it's Andrea, but see, the cops would have figured that shit out, though. I kept trying to figure out, like, it almost seemed like they were trying to hide something as they were leaving. I'm like, what are you hiding?
Well,
I mean, I don't think they were like, I don't think anybody knew they were there when Neville died.
Yeah.
So that could be part of it. But then
they're acting all weird.
Cops already know who this chick is, though. They know that Andrea is dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's really no point in giving fake names or anything. Like, it's like you could just get on a plane and say, this is my girlfriend now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's a weird setup. I don't know what the logic was behind that writing of that particular scene.
And at that point in time, I was checked out. I'm like, oh, just end already. Just end, please. Neville's dead 10 minutes already. Let's just like get on your fucking plane and go to your kid that probably is a little bastard.
I
don't know. I'm not trying to be negative about it, but like,
well, it has some serious flaws. I mean,
yeah.
Well, before we get into our ratings, I'll go ahead and play the trailer just so people can kind of see what it's about a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and finish up this particular episode.
Alrighty.
I was looking for Mary Jean. You see Mary Jean?
There's no Mary Jean here. This is Christopher Neville.
Okay, cut.
He's famous for directing big-budget movies. But the movies he makes at home are a lot more interesting and not very nice. This is Mary Jean. She's dying to be a movie star.
I'm looking for Mary Jean.
Chris Neville is about to make Mary Jean's dream come true. Special effects.
I want that reel of film.
Who says I've got it?
The police.
Make dirty pictures.
Bastard!
Cut, print.
Watch it!
Special effects. Only death is for real. From New Line Cinema.
It's in the fucking trailer.
Yep.
Jesus.
Plus, I noticed because the description's all in the wiki says her name's Andrea, but they did call her Mary Jean, so I don't know why that's different there. I don't know why that, but I think it is in the movie as Mary Jean. I think they just wanted to give her kind of like a Southern Dixie type of name, sorts, because she didn't have like that accent. Yeah. All right. Well, let's rate it. So, how did you feel about this film from 1 to 10?
Well, I mean, talking about it, like I always say, that soothes it over a little bit, but I don't know, man. I didn't really like this one that much. I would say like a 5.5. I couldn't get into it. It was just confusing to me, and I didn't understand why he was doing this. Like, why you killed the person? Why is that the answer? Why? When that was so much more fun. But I don't know, man. Yeah, 5. I'd be nice about it. I was like, oh my god, I hate this movie. Shane is over here behind me, and I'm like, I can't wait till this is over. Like I was not enjoying it. I was just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the plot's fine. I mean, it's not something we haven't seen before with like dual roles and stuff, but it was fine as far as like a plot device. I think, sadly, and probably because he went to have a little bit better career than anybody else in the film. Eric Bogosian, he's probably the best one in the film in terms of just making the impact. Like you hate him anyway. Like it's like he does his job. He knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
But I think that it's a little rough around the edges. I don't know if it's because just, even though I'd seen her in MS-45, she was a little bit more quiet in that film. Although credit to her, she was only about 17 when she did that film. But certainly this has a lot of flaws in it. I mean, I'm close to what you had. I have a 6 on this one. It's got some good points, some bad. Like you said, the kill at the end probably could have been a little bit more satisfactory.
Yeah,
it seemed a little bit lackluster for given what this guy was.
Like make him like I know he's in the water and burn, shocking, but like at least have like a skin melted or catch fire or somehow, I don't know, catch his hair on fire.
Maybe having like such an ego that he had like a fish tank of piranha or something, just have him fall in that,
Yeah, like a giant great white shark in a big aquarium.
Something, give me something.
Or a box jellyfish, like he's that badass,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell everyone what you got up for us when we do our next episode.
Well, we're gonna go over on my channel, and we're going to be recording episode 31 of what is it? Screamers, aka Island of the Fishman.
Fishman.
fishmen. It's plural, but I think it's man. I don't know. But yeah, been wanting to watch that for a while and finally did. And that's what we're going to go review right now after this, actually. So when you're done watching this and you hit that thumbs up button and you subscribe over here, head on over to my channel and we're going to continue the conversation with another movie.
Do
what I say.
Do what I say, man. All right. Thank you all for the support. Obviously, if you've seen this film or any of the films we've seen, and give us some comments, let us know how you feel about them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you disagree with our ratings, or do you think we gave you too much credit? Like, let us know. Yeah.
Oh, somebody's going to say it's my favorite movie of all time.
That's how it usually goes. Art is subjective. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the Ghouls of Midnight, and we will see you next time. Cheers.
Adios.
You see me for you.